7 a.m. I just pulled up to the gym. Just want to tell you guys a little bit about my personal transformation and why it's so important to me to work out, to eat right, and stuff like that. So in 2014, it was my senior year in high school. I actually was injured. I had a torn labrum, several dislocations during football during my senior year in high school. After my football season ended, after my very last game, I decided to go ahead and go with surgery. So this was towards the end of 2014. I did the surgery, and I went from being involved in sports, going and hanging out with friends, being pretty active, to doing nothing, in a sling, playing video games, and eating Doritos and chugging Mountain Dew. Like, that was my life for probably 6 months after the surgery. And after I was finally cleared to start doing stuff, I wasn't cleared to do resistance training. After I was finally cleared to start doing stuff, I realized, looked down, and saw where I was. I was 230 pounds when I was originally 205 pounds. Previous athlete. I wasn't ever super lean. I was not the guy who was shredded, not the guy who was super strong, super muscular, nothing like that. But I went from being, in pretty decent shape to basically just being a fat blob version of myself. And I hated it. That bothered the mess out of me. I was lethargic all the time. I felt awful. I would get winded climbing up stairs, which was something that I never experienced before. At 18 years old, that's a big deal. And a lot of you are where I was right then. You're looking down, you're realizing that you're not happy, right? So 2014, at the end of 2014, I was going through surgery. 2015 rolls around, I'm finally cleared. Very first thing I do, a lot of you may do the same thing, is I started out running, all right? Unfortunately for me, that's all I was allowed to do because I just had shoulder surgery. So I started out running, doing variations of low steady state cardio, just to get some weight off. Granted, this is all I could do at the time. So this was where my weight loss journey started. This is kind of where my fitness journey started. Was just getting outside, running, jogging around the block, trying to lose some weight. I mean, like I said, I was 230 pounds. Had done nothing for the past 6 months but eat Doritos and play Call of Duty. Like, seriously. So when I first started, I was eating tuna and salad most of my meals. All I knew is that I needed to eat protein to preserve muscle or put it on. I didn't really know a whole lot back then, okay? So I was just eating a lot of tuna, trying to get my protein intake up, not really tracking anything, just eating several cans of tuna a day, and then salad, because salad is supposedly healthy, right? So that's how my fitness journey started. And guys, it was awful. For probably 3 months after I was cleared, it was actually 2 months, because I couldn't do any type of resistance training because my shoulder was I was still going to physical therapy. There was still some mobility issues, and the strength obviously wasn't there because I hadn't been working it at all. I had been in a sling. So I wasn't allowed to do any type of resistance training. Well, when I first got cleared for resistance training, to be honest, I was scared. I was scared to do anything. You had just gone through 6 months where your arm was in a sling. I mean, you're doing things like eating with your left. I mean, for me personally, I'm right-handed. I was eating with my left hand, doing things, even wiping your butt left-handed is a little bit awkward. I mean, things that you never think about. And here I was having to do all this stuff left-handed. I hadn't used my right hand in a really, really long time. And so to be cleared, finally start doing things normal again, it was a little bit intimidating. I mean, you're going back into a gym, somewhere where that I was never super successful. I was never the strongest in the weight room. I was never very impressive. At best, I was average. So I'm going back. I'm trying to start resistance training. Obviously, I want to start right, make sure that I don't injure my shoulder again. And at the time, the doctor told me that I should never bench press again because of the way that the anchors hold my shoulder in place after the labrum repair. He's like, it's probably best if you never bench press again. So for the longest time, I never did any barbell press, any barbell movements. I strictly stuck to dumbbells to allow my shoulder mobility. It's not restricted in any way, form, or fashion. You know, if I want to rotate my wrist with using a dumbbell, I can do that. You can't do that with a barbell. So the tension can usually be taking off your shoulder just by doing little things like tucking your elbows or rotating your wrist or something like that throughout the movement that you can't do with the barbell. So I go in and I'm like, you know, this hype about losing weight is that you have to do lots and lots of reps with really low weight, and then this is how you get shredded, right? Garbage. So 2015 rolls around. I'm finally on a good fitness regimen. I'm jogging. I'm lifting weights. I'm doing it 6 or 7 times a week. I'm eating tuna salad, and I think I'm doing everything right. I was weaker than I've ever been. I could run a long time, but I had no muscle mass. And I finally reached my goal weight, which at the time was 175 pounds. Guys, when I looked in the mirror, I was so unsatisfied. You know why? Because the 175-pound kid that I thought I wanted to be, I was not happy with. I could see my ribs. My abs were kind of there, but they weren't great. You know, I had just transformed my body, and in my mind, I was still unsatisfied. And why? Well, I was torturing myself 6 or 7 days a week between running, lifting weights, you know, and I was in the gym a long time too. I mean, I was doing everything wrong. If I could go around right back in time, slap myself in the face and tell myself, hey, you're doing this wrong, listen to me, I would. Okay? And a lot of you don't realize that fitness is really, really in-depth. It's not about just picking up a weight. It's not about just running, getting outside, just doing whatever you want. If you have goals, if you have serious goals, then a lot of times it takes a serious training regimen. And so what I mean by serious is that when you come to the gym to work out, quote unquote, you need to know what muscle groups you want to be working. You need to have a plan on what you're wanting to accomplish for that day. And you need to make sure that you're doing it in a reasonable amount of time. Well, Coach Capel, what do you mean? When I go to the gym now, I know what muscle groups I want to work. I know what movements that I want to do. I'm not going in there like, oh, I want to hit chest, and going in there, doing some barbell press, standing around for 5 minutes, maybe do some cable flies, standing around for another 3 minutes talking up at the front desk. No, I have an exact regimen of what I want to accomplish and what I want to do for that day. And this plan makes a huge difference come 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the road. When you're following a plan, when you're following something that leads you to your goals, you notice a difference. So, flashback, 2015, 175 pounds, and extremely, extremely unsatisfied. So, I start working at a gym. I meet a guy named Barrett Ward. A lot of you may not know him, whatever. Instagram him, you know, Facebook, whatever it is. He's now an IFBB pro bodybuilder. And he was a mentor to me in a lot of ways. You know, he helped me clean up my diet. He's like, well, in order to put on muscle, you have to eat carbs. And at the time, you know, carbs are these awful things, right? You don't want carbs. I want to eat salad and tuna all day, every day, so I can stay shredded and whatever. So I began researching, doing more and more to learn about nutrition. And lo and behold, the dude's right. I mean, if you go and look at a diet plan for an athlete, right? Because we see athletes on TV, all right? You may not want to look like a bodybuilder. You may not want to look like some shredded freak on Instagram. But 9 times out of 10, someone wants to look like an athlete. And guess what athletes have in their diet? Carbs, all right? So majority of the athletes consume carbs, and they consume a lot of them because they have to fuel their body. And they still look amazing. So I start throwing carbs in my diet. I fill back out. I'm kind of bulking, but I wanted to do it very cautiously. So what I call clean bulking. It's a very, very low caloric surplus to put on a reasonable amount of muscle mass over time. And I changed my training. Within 3 months of doing that, I went from 175 pounds to 185 pounds, okay? And there was a huge difference. My muscle bellies were fuller. I had more muscle mass. I was looking in the mirror, you know. I had definition, something that I didn't have at 175 pounds. So I was finally starting to feel the sense of accomplishment that I was looking for. And a lot of you guys are sitting here watching this video, and you're looking for that. You know? You've been working out for a long time. You've been training hard, but you still don't feel accomplished. It's been a long journey. I'll give you that. You know, it's 2018, about to be 2019. I've been training for a very, very long time. But to say that I feel satisfied and accomplished with the goals that I have done, it's remarkable. Because a lot of people can't say that. You know, they're still unsatisfied with what they're doing. They're busting their butts. That's how I was. You know, when I was 230 pounds and went down to 175, a lot of people are like, dude, that's awesome, that's awesome. But I was unsatisfied. I was unhappy. I wasn't doing it for anybody else. I was doing it for myself. I wanted to be better, but I wasn't happy. So, if you're watching this video, and this is something that you want to be a part of, and you want to accomplish this, you want to feel accomplished when you go to the gym, you want to turn around 3-6 months from now and feel good about yourself, you know, shoot me a message. Just ask me, dude, what's some things that I can do? I'm more than happy to help you. You guys know that I'm a personal trainer. I help people just like this every single day. I may not be super accomplished, may not be a millionaire, but this is something that I'm good at. You guys have a blessed day, and thank you for watching.